there is a remarkable story, and it's broken not by a conservative outlet. It's broken by Josh Rogan at the Daily Beast. This guy is not a conservative. He's probably a liberal, not a flaming liberal. But he actually took the time to track down this 12-year-old girl in this rape case where Hillary Clinton, as a 27-year-old lawyer, represented the accused rapist. There were more than one, but she represented one of them. And she was heard on a tape of poor quality that we tried to play the other day, but the quality was too poor for radio, giggling when she said she's now given up on lie detector tests because her client passed one in this case. Now, that would be the end of anybody else's career if that anybody else were Republican. That would be the end of it. And all the hyenas and coyotes out there on the left would be doing what hyenas and coyotes do, making noise, howling, going on and on and on, marking their areas and walking in circles. But instead, silence. But you're going to want to hear about this, I think. So there's a reporter at the Daily Beast. Now, the Daily Beast is considered a fairly left-wing site. Josh Rogan is by no means a conservative, and yet more and more I'm noticing him as what we used to call a reporter. And he took the time to contact this 12-year-old, who's now 52, alleged child who was, allegedly raped, and Hillary Clinton was 27, representing one of the alleged perpetrators. So I'll let this Rogan article speak for itself, but I really think you ought to listen to it because all this crap about she's for women and children, the libs are just full of it. If they were for children, they wouldn't be bankrupting the next generation. The woman at the center of the scandal over Hillary Clinton's defense of an alleged child rapist speaks out in depth for the first time. Now, I might add she was an attorney for the Black Panthers on the West Coast, a child rapist, alleged. Just saying. Hillary Clinton is known as a champion of women and girls, but one woman who says she was raped as a 12-year-old in Arkansas doesn't think Hillary deserves that honor. This woman says Hillary smeared her and used dishonest tactics to successfully get her attacker off with a light sentence, even though she claims Clinton knew he was guilty. The victim in the 1975 sexual abuse case that became Clinton's first criminal defense case at 27 years old has only spoken to the media once since her attack, a contested short interaction with a reporter in 2008 during Clinton's last presidential campaign run. Now 52, she wants to speak out after hearing Clinton talk about her case on newly discovered audio recordings from the 1980s unearthed by the Washington Free Beacon and made public this week. And by the way, the Clinton Library is now banning the Washington Free Beacon, which it has no legal authority to do, and they've hired a law firm in Washington to fight this because they've been digging through the Clinton archives and coming up with some pretty miraculous information that, of course, the rest of the media doesn't give a damn about. In a long, emotional interview with the Daily Beast, she accused Clinton of intentionally lying about her in court documents, going to extraordinary lengths to discredit evidence of the rape, and later callously acknowledging and laughing about her attacker's guilt on the recordings. And I'm certain all these left-wing women's groups in America are plotting over the weekend on how to rise up against Hillary on Monday. And I am certain the news media in this country, they're all ready on Sunday to discuss this at great length on the Sunday shows. Hillary Clinton took me through hell, the victim said. The Daily Beast agreed to withhold her name out of concern for her privacy as a victim of sexual assault. The victim said if she saw Clinton today, she would call her out for what she sees as the hypocrisy of Clinton's current campaign to fight for women's rights compared to her actions regarding this rape case so long ago. Quote, I would say to Clinton, you took a case of mine in 75, you lied on me. I realize the truth now, the heart of what you've done to me, and you are supposed to be for women? You call that being for women? What you done to me? And I hear you on tape laughing? The victim's allegation that Clinton smeared her following her rape is based on a May 1975 court affidavit written by Clinton on behalf of Thomas Alfred Taylor, one of the two alleged attackers, whom Clinton agreed to defend after being asked by the prosecutor. Taylor had specifically requested a female attorney, and one with really, really big jumpsuit. I've been informed that the complainant is emotionally unstable with a tendency to seek out older men and engage in fantasizing, Clinton, then named Hillary D. Rodham, wrote in the affidavit. Attacking an alleged rape victim. That's what she was doing. The affidavit went on. I've also been informed that she has in the past made false accusations about persons, claiming they had attacked her body. Also that she exhibits an unusual stubbornness and temper when she doesn't get her way, quote unquote. Really, Hillary? And was she wearing something provocative too? The 12-year-old, I mean. Remember, she's talking about a 12-year-old. Hillary Clinton also wrote that a child psychologist told her that children in early adolescence, quote, tend to exaggerate or romanticize sexual experiences, especially when they come from disorganized families such as the complainant. Oh, she was trashing the hell out of this 12-year-old, wasn't she? The victim vigorously denied Clinton's accusations and said there has never been any explanation of what Clinton was referring to in that affidavit. She claims she never accused anyone of attacking her before this rape. I've never said that about anyone. I don't know why she said that. I've never made false allegations. I know she was lying. I definitely didn't see older men. I don't know why Hillary put that in there, and it makes me plumb mad. Again, this was a 12-year-old at the time. The victim's second main grievance with Clinton stems from the newly revealed audio recordings, which were taped in a series of interviews of Clinton with Arkansas reporter Roy Reed, who was researching an article on the Clintons that was ultimately never published. The Washington Free Beacon found the tapes archived at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville amidst thousands of pieces of Clinton history that are being periodically released by for public consumption. On the tapes, Hillary Clinton, who speaks in a Southern drawl, appears to acknowledge that she was aware of her client's guilt, brags about successfully getting the only piece of physical evidence thrown out of court, and laughs about it all whimsically. Hillary for president. Clinton said on this recording with the reporter, he took a lie detector test. She's talking about her client. I had him take a polygraph, which he passed, which forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs, and she giggled. She then describes how she discovered that investigators had cut out and lost a section of the suspect's underwear that they said contained the victim's blood. Clinton brought the remaining underwear segment to a Nobel Prize-winning blood expert in Brooklyn, New York, she explained, in order to convince him to lend his heavyweight reputation and influence to her defense case. And so the story through the grapevine was, she's saying, Clinton, if you get him interested in the case, then you know you had the foremost expert in the world willing to testify so that it came out the way you wanted it to come out. You believe how she's talking? This is a 12-year-old who's accusing a man or two men, really, of raping her. Clinton told the judge the famous expert was willing to testify. Instead of the original charge of first-degree rape, the prosecutors let Taylor plead to a lesser charge, unlawful fondling of a child. According to the Free Beacon, Taylor was sentenced to 1 year behind bars with 2 months reduced for time served. The second attacker was never charged. Oh, he plea bargained. Got him off with time served in county jail. He'd been in the county jail about 2 months, Clinton said on the recordings, apparently not remembering the sentence accurately. For the victim, the tapes prove that while Clinton was arguing in the affidavit that the victim could have some culpability in her own attack, she actually believed that her client was guilty. Taylor's light sentence was a miscarriage of justice, the victim said. Again, she was 12 at the time. It's proven fact with all the tapes now revealed. She lied like a dog on me. I think she was trying to do whatever she could do to make herself look good at the time. She wanted it to look good. She didn't care if those guys did it or not. Them two guys should have got a longer time. I don't think justice was served at all. The office of Hillary Clinton did not respond to a request for comment, and in a 2008 article in Newsday written by Glenn Thrush, now a Politico, Clinton spokesperson Howard Wolfson defended her conduct in the case. As she wrote in her book, Living History, I forgot how many books Hillary didn't write with her name on it. Senator Clinton was appointed by the Circuit Court of Washington County, Arkansas, to represent Mr. Taylor in the matter. As an attorney and officer of the court, she had an ethical and legal obligation to defend him to the fullest extent of the law. To act otherwise would have constituted a breach of her professional responsibilities. In that book, Clinton gave vague details about her actions in the case, said that shortly thereafter she helped set up Arkansas's first rape hotline. According to Thrush's article, The victim didn't fault Clinton for her defense of the attacker during their 2008 interview, which took place in the prison where the victim was serving time, stay with me, for drug-related offenses in the presence of the warden. "I'm sure Hillary was just doing her job," he quoted the victim as saying. "After all, everyone has a right to be defended in court. And 1975 was a long time ago." But the victim now claimed she was misquoted. She didn't even know Clinton was the lawyer who defended her attacker until Thrush showed her Clinton's book. And she had no other information about what had happened behind closed doors in that courtroom when Thrush approached her, she said. Thrush, now writer for the Politico, declined to comment. "If I had known that day what I know now, I would have told him exactly what I'm telling you today," she said. Now, after she was released from prison in 2008, the victim read more about Clinton's involvement in her case, but she never planned to confront Clinton about it. She said, "I started seeing where I had really been stomped in the ground. I didn't really know what to do about it. I just figured life would have to go on and I'd have to live with it," she said. Remember, at the time, she was 12. But after hearing the newly revealed tapes of Clinton boasting about the case and chuckling, the victim said she couldn't hold her tongue any longer and wanted to tell her side of the story to the public. Quote, "When I heard that tape, I was pretty upset. I went back to the room and I was talking to my two cousins and I cried a little bit. I ain't going to lie. Some of this has got me pretty down. But I thought to myself, I'm going to stand up to her. I'm going to stand up for what I've got to stand up for." In her interview with the Daily Beast, she recounted the details of her attack in 1975 at age 12 and the consequences it had for both her childhood and adult life. A virgin before the assault, she spent 5 days afterwards in a coma, recovering from the beating that accompanied the rape and over 10 years in therapy. And the doctors told her she would probably never be able to have children. The victim was put through several forensic procedures, including a lie detector test. At first, she failed the lie detector test. She said that was because she didn't understand one of the specific sex-related questions. Now, once that question was explained to her, she passed. The victim positively identified her two attackers through one-way glass, and they were arrested. But that wasn't the end of her ordeal. She described being afraid of men for years and dealing with anger issues well into her adulthood. At one point, she turned to drugs, a path that ultimately led her to her prison term. Now 52, she has never married or had children. She said she had been sober for several years and has achieved a level of stability, although she remains unemployed and living on disability. The victim doesn't remember ever meeting Clinton in 1975. She says her memoirs from that ordeal are spotty. She does recall feeling exasperated by law enforcement and the legal proceedings to the point where she told her mother she just wanted it to be over so she could try to resume her childhood. Whether or not Clinton was just doing her duty as a defense lawyer, for the victim, Clinton's behavior speaks to her character, her ambition, and her suitability to be a role model for women or President of the United States. Quote, "I think she wants to be a role model being who she is, to look good, but I don't think she's a role model at all. If she had been, she would have helped me at the time, being a 12-year-old girl who was raped by two guys. She did that to look good, and she told lies on it. How many other lies has she told to get where she's at today? She becomes president. Is she going to be telling the world the truth? No, she's going to be telling lies out there, what the world wants to hear." Boy, all these years Hillary Clinton has been in the limelight. All these years. She ran for the Senate twice. She ran for president in her primary once. She was first lady for 8 years, standing by Bill Clinton's side during 2 presidential elections. All those years. And only now a reporter for the Daily Beast finally follows up with this 52-year-old who was raped at 12, and Hillary represented one of her rapists. And it raises very, very serious questions about the manner in which she represented this man. Not her zealousness, if it was ethical. But that's the word, whether in fact it was ethical.